And we are here on the Educated Retirement once again. And welcome back to KMET. And we are going to, well, let me give you a phone number 951 922 3532, 951 922 3532. That's the number to call and talk to Daryl or me right now, or as soon as he starts talking. You might want to talk. You might want to chime in. So the first thing we're going to do, though, is let Daryl introduce himself.
It's good to be here with you, Jay. My name is Daryl McCance. I'm a broker here in the beautiful state of California. And are you excited about talking about mobile homes, manufactured homes?
Yeah, well, let's talk. Let's say manufactured homes, because mobile homes, like reverse mortgage has a connotation to some older people, not all, about how bad they are. Well, the same thing can be said maybe about mobile homes. Manufactured homes might be a better way, or I'm not sure how to,
Well, let me share a couple things with you, Jay.
But first, tell us how to get a hold of you and who you are and your claim to fame, so we don't forget.
As I said, I'm a broker here in California. Daryl McCance, 909-227-3847. 909-227-3847. Daryl McCance. Now back to your comment about mobile homes, manufactured homes, and modular homes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have three different.
Because we don't want to talk about triple wide so that I can fit,
Exactly.
That belongs to something else. But I'll keep my mouth quiet if I can, so you can talk.
There you go. So really, it all comes down to 1976. I don't know if you can see, Jay, but behind me I have the beautiful poster, 1776.
1976, I see it.
Yeah, that's 1776.
I know, but you weren't supposed to correct me. Yeah.
But in 1976, in June, the United States HUD adopted codes that were very specific, very beneficial to consumers. And what had happened prior to 76, there were some really very well-built mobile homes, but there was not a universal set of codes. From June of 76 forward, the U.S. had put very specific codes for manufacturing and installation and all kinds of other important details in the subject of manufactured homes.
Mm-hmm.
So manufactured homes, simply put, are built elsewhere. They're built on a steel frame. They're transported to the consumer's location. Typically, they own the piece of land, and they are put into the place where it makes the most sense.
With a foundation, correct?
Yeah, there could be all your utilities, foundation, etc. And I got to tell you, the manufactured homes, even today, many of them have vaulted ceilings, walk-in closets.
I noticed a vaulted ceiling where you are.
Yeah, exactly.
I figured that's just because your family stuck you in the attic to get you away.
Exactly. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, we had people in the basement today, so they put me in the loft. So, so manufactured homes to this day are obviously built elsewhere to very strict codes. The codes every year have become more and more defined, and the end product, frankly, is more and more impressive every year that goes on. It could be 10 to 30% less cost per square foot for the consumer, as opposed to something that we in the business called stick built. And for the people that are listening, when we say stick built, that's just a term used to describe what we often see when somebody has a piece of land, whether it's a tract of homes or a home being built, where they pour the foundation and they start to frame the house, and everything is done right on location
with sticks.
Those are called stick built.
And unfortunately, those sticks are food for termites.
Correct.
And the steel beams, the other ones, are not.
Yeah, the termites oftentimes they'll chip a tooth when they're not that
Yeah.
stuff. Okay, so manufactured homes have served a great need because you're getting a very high quality product, and the cost can be quite a bit less, especially as you and I are discussing. People that are in retirement, oftentimes they're downsizing. So they may have
Yeah.
had a conventional stick-built home. It served them well, served their family well, and now they want to downsize, sell the big home, take their funds, and possibly invest them, maybe have some set aside for long-term care or other things. So these are really viable, wonderfully built homes, to say the very least. Now, if we move to the next subject, which is modular homes also are built elsewhere. They are brought, after they're built, they're brought to the consumer's piece of land.
And what's the big difference now?
Now, here's the difference. A modular home, just like the manufactured home, is built elsewhere. It's built on a steel frame. However, when it gets out to its final site, the steel frame that it's built on is removed, and the home is put on a permanent concrete foundation or a block foundation, exactly as the stick-built homes. They also are not using federal guidelines, just like a stick-built home. They're using local, county, and state guidelines. So a modular home is actually virtually
The same.
similar to a stick-built home.
Now, let me ask you a personal question here.
Yes.
How, if I were to look at one, a modular compared to what was the other one again? I'm old. You got to remind.
You got modular homes. You got manufactured homes.
Okay, we talked about.
And you still have mobile homes.
Okay, we haven't talked about those yet. We've talked about the modular and the manufactured.
Okay, so let me just quickly touch on.
If I were to look at those, would I be able to see the difference from the outside?
It's funny you should say that, because the modular or the mobile homes that were before 1976, that came in on a steel frame, oftentimes they had wheels on them and everything else. Some of them were extremely well built.
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, they've been beautifully cared for. They're absolutely wonderful. And you could literally have all three side by side. And virtually from the outside, you may not be able to tell the difference.
Okay.
Especially if they're all, immaculate, similarly landscaped. But once you inspect them further and find out they're year built, because remember, the manufactured homes will have the U.S. HUD paperwork and identification on there to show that they meet those codes.
That's the thing that everybody looks for, the plaque, right? They call the plaque.
Right. And prior to that, you would not have the 76, prior to 1976, you wouldn't have that U.S. HUD plaque. That's very important, because if people want to get financing, okay, they're going to have to be able to oftentimes show, especially if it's an FHA loan, they would have to show that it met the U.S. HUD guidelines with respect to the manufactured, and it would obviously have to be, on a permanent foundation, and the property owner, would have to own the land that it's on for some of the FHA products. So, but your question is spot on. Modular versus manufactured versus mobile. The home buyer, as it is, has to become very familiar with what it is they're looking at. And oftentimes when they speak to people that are licensed, in my case, a licensed broker, in your case, a licensee in the state, or again, in your case and mine, if they're going to get financing information, there's a series of questionnaires that we will make sure are completed and provided to the person that's thinking about buying one of these. Or if somebody's going to order a new one, the factory that's building it
Right.
is perfectly capable of providing to them all the specs and
Just like a new home builder would, where they'd have
just
all that.
absolutely 100% the case. In the case of a new manufactured home, a new modular home, or a new stick-built home, you're absolutely right. All that critical documentation will be provided to the home buyer. And now, that said, if somebody does buy an existing single-family stick-built home, mobile home, manufactured home, or modular, they're going to have to get educated on exactly what it is. And when they're dealing with licensed professionals, that information typically comes to them very quickly.
Now they can call you, or they can call me and I can get them in touch with you. But I think what you're trying to really say is that people who are looking to either two classes of people that are downsizing and perhaps first-time buyers.
Absolutely.
Because they could also be an investment for a first-time buyer.
They could also be a second. They could also be a second home.
That's the other thing I was going to get into a little bit further down. But an
investment property.
Yeah, this is something people should stick into their put on the menu of looking to buy something. Don't put it in the fast food category. Put it on the main entree part of the menu.
And since you mentioned you're an old guy, Jay.
Oh, no,
you're
guessing. You're just guessing, but that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. But since you mentioned it, it's important for all of us to know, and everybody listening right now, that when it comes to affordability, it's never been a bigger issue in the country, in the state, in our region. And these options did not exist years past as they do today.
Right. Of course, the price of housing didn't exist the way it does today. Now, I know everything has gone up, but that's gone up a lot more than income has.
You got that right.
So these slice of bread and income may have gone up the same. Televisions and income may have gone up the same, but income and housing, not even close.
Not even close. So your emphasis on retirement and really providing great options for your listeners, it's really important that all four, because we're talking about four options. Single family, you're talking about stick built, we're talking about manufactured, we're talking about modular.
All of those are available with a reverse mortgage, but I don't want to get too far into reverse right now because this is your time.
No, but there's the whole topic of financing, you and I know, is critical because it's the biggest factor when you talk about affordability. So for most people, affordability is measured on a monthly basis. So you're absolutely
cash flow, yeah.
Cash flow. So the U.S. HUD program that you are most excited about will make these most affordable when it comes to the HECM for purchase, but not to mention the other FHA programs,
right?
Conventional, and a lot of people do these with unsecured. There's all sorts of options on it.
Sure.
But the number one thing is everybody should, and you started the show out by you really hit the nail on the head. Do not take information that was from 5 years ago, 10, 20, and make it relevant today because they have completely changed.
Right.
They've changed this dramatically, just like the telephones we use today have no correlation. The telephones we used 10 years ago or 20 years ago.
Right.
And the TVs that we use have no correlation. And when it comes to manufactured homes, modular homes, stick-built homes, there have been tremendous advances. And I really do think that your audience that is really focused on affordability, downsizing, energy efficiency, cost to maintain.
Yeah.
All of these things.
All of those things do matter on some of those homes. Another thing which I wasn't even planning to think about. But, you know, I spend a lot of time like in Orange County and LA County also.
Yeah.
Almost, I see new homes, a lot of new homes being built, 3 stories, no more 2 stories, 3 stories, because you can get as big a house with less of a footprint.
Right.
And I mean, I used to see those in places like Chicago and other, you know, like in, you know, Lincoln Park and things. Everything was 3 stories. And now it's coming here.
Correct.
And if you get older, unless you've got an elevator or a stair lift that goes up to, you want single story.
Yeah.
And many of those manufactured are single story.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, Jay, because if you're in your car, because typically the garage is on the first floor, and you forgot to pick up your, your briefcase,
Yeah.
you're going up 3 flights of stairs.
No, you ask your wife to go get it.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work good.
That worked good for you, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, as I get thrown off the side of the
Yeah.
brick. Now, a big part of your audience has opportunities where, especially when you get into the Inland Empire and you get into some of these areas, where there's a tremendous amount of modular homes, manufactured homes, 1 story. It's very easy living, and it does fit the retirement topic, because as you look at a lot of the retirement communities, you'll notice that they're 1 story.
Right.
It's
Oh,
very,
sure.
It's very easy in, easy out.
You know, I really want a stair lift. I really do, but I have a single story home.
Well, maybe they could get one that'll take you up to the roof.
See, that I think that would be so cool to have a thing that opened up and it went right through the ceiling.
Yeah.
Smoke a cigar up there and look around, and but no such luck.
Yeah. Well, you can always dream. Technology as it is.
Yeah.
Next year you'll see it advertised on TV.
Yeah.
You'll have a chairlift that takes you right up to your crawl space.
Yeah.
And you can go up there
and crawl.
Well, you fumigate your attic. You just.
Yeah. Well, I see you're in yours right now, right? So.
Yeah. Exactly.
But a lot of the land, speaking of Inland Empire and the valley out there through, all the way down to Temecula and over to Palm Springs and all the other areas, the high desert, the land is getting more expensive. But it used to not be nearly as expensive as LA and Orange County. And that's when a lot of developers bought land. Yeah. And they still are, but they bought land wondering what to do with them. And now they're starting to put more modular and things like that on them. It's going to keep the price way down.
Yep.
And,
Riverside County, your upper desert, your lower desert.
Yeah. I mean, if I didn't already have a house, that would be near the top of my list, I think.
Yep.
Especially if it was far away from where you live, that would be.
That would be an additional benefit, see?
It certainly would.
Now, you be nice to us LA County residents, okay? Because I'm LA County, you're Orange County.
It's hard to think of you as LA County.
Isn't it?
You're right on the edge.
Well, out here.
We could call you, yeah.
Mount Claremont, which is
very nice. Very nice.
It's a little college town. They used to call it the Westwood of the East. We used to be the Inland Empire. Now the Inland Empire is
way east.
Yeah. Way up there. Yeah. Now it's way. So.
No, and you live, for those of you that you do live in a craftsman type home, which is just amazingly beautiful, except that you live in it. But
Yeah, until they open the front door and they see my face, it's a beautiful.
Yeah.
Thing.
Well, there's no other room besides.
Yeah, it's now 115 years old.
Wow.
So you guys.
That's older than me.
Only by a few months. And, we love it. and all of Southern California, it used to be, Jay, where LA was way over there and Orange County was way over there and Riverside was way over there. Well, now, you leave one and you're in the other and you don't even realize it. Everything now has really developed together. So, you doing the show today on these affordable, very potentially advantageous types of homes for retirement consideration. Again, the big topic now is downsizing. A lot of people, the utility bills have never been higher. The maintenance is high. Everything is expensive.
Now, before we have to go,
yep.
And unfortunately, the time goes too fast in these shows. You brought up earlier vacation homes. So let's touch on that before we have to sign off.
Yeah. So as people are wanting to have a desert home or a mountain home, or we didn't talk about investment homes. Right. So I think you're going to start to see with these, now that these industries have matured, kind of like you, Jay, they've also matured.
Very mature, yes. Very mature.
Right. When I think of you, I think of maturity.
Yeah. Now you may have missed the earlier part of the show.
Yeah.
Where I was, Captain Video, talking about my maturity.
Oh, I didn't see that. Okay. That's nice. Thanks for putting that. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. So, but as these technologies have emerged, and the quality of these homes have never been better, to use them as vacation homes, investment, second homes, primary residence, retirement homes, I think it's going to be prolific. And again, I commend you for doing the show on this, because I think you're way ahead of the game. I think there's very little conversation, big picture on this subject. And I think that, as you said, if I were to be looking for something that made a lot of sense in retirement, to not know about these options, I think would be really unfortunate.
Correct.
You want to be able to consider them, to say the least.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. And, I can see myself the thing is, when you're inside them, even if, like I had in-laws when they were alive, that were in what we used to call a double wide. I was probably single wide at the time, so there was no problem.
Yeah, you fit good, but now you'd be better, more comfortable.
Yeah, but we're talking about what people would call trailers or mobile homes.
Right.
In a park, a mobile home park.
Right.
And the thing is, when you're inside, even though that looked very different from the outside because of the wheels and the tie, that kind of thing. Yeah. Inside, you wouldn't know.
Well, I got to tell you, Jay, I don't know how much time we have left, but I was just in one. And it was about 2,000 square feet. And you, from the outside, with the beautiful high glass windows and...
Oh, yeah. No, some of those are... I was just saying the extreme, you still don't know the difference.
Yeah, but now more than ever, you don't know whether it was manufactured on site or off site.
And even if you did, what's the difference?
Well,
if you enjoy it and it looks great, the difference, of course, is the price.
Well, not only that, but the funny part is that's also true. It's funny and it's true. You may be in a manufactured home or modular home that is better built than a stick-built home, or it could be equal, or it could be worse. Again, it depends who the builder is.
Right, just like any two houses.
But people used to assume that they were lesser than a stick-built home. That's no longer the case.
Right.
Oftentimes they have more energy efficiency. When they were building it, it was in a controlled environment.
Right.
So they had more skilled labor.
I don't know that this is true or not. Maybe you can tell me. A buyer, if it's a new one, may have more choices as to what goes into it.
It could very well be the case. Absolutely, they have all of the computerized modeling where all sorts of customizations can be done. But again, you don't have to worry about weather damage while it's built. That there's more supervision.
Like if it rains, you have to wait 6 months then to get into your property after you sold it and you got nowhere to go.
Correct.
That's a whole nother subject, but yeah.
Yeah. So no, you're absolutely correct. So the bottom line is they're built in these big facilities that are well supervised. They have all the proper equipment. All the proper equipment. So yeah, I think it's a very important consideration. Ultimately, the homeowner has to make whatever choice is best for them. But again, I commend you for dealing with this information. I think you're way ahead of the game, and it could be very positive for retirees.
Yes, it can. And I really appreciate you bringing all this information. And for any, we have a few seconds left, not much. Tell them your name, how they can get a hold of you. And if if they don't remember that, they can get a hold of me.
Right. Yeah. My name is Daryl McCance. I'm a licensed broker, state of California, 909-227-3847 or 310-400-9209.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sean, for all your good work. And most of all, thank everybody out there listening, watching. Have yourself a great week. And remember, Kaplan will be here on the same corner in front of the cigar store next week.